Hello and welcome to Controversial Coasters with Contriver, a series where I discuss extremely unpopular opinions that I have regarding roller coasters or amusement parks and attempt to justify them even though 90% of the community will disagree with them. In this episode, we are going to be taking a look at the two giant intimate hydraulic launch strata coasters, Kingda Ka and Thrill Dragster. These two roller coasters are very similar on paper, and to be completely honest, they are very similar when actually riding them. But anyways, before I discuss my controversial opinion, I want to first address a common misconception with these two coasters. It seems that everyone tends to believe that Six Flags ultimately just copied Cedar Fair with the design of Kingda Ka, which is technically true. However, this assumption completely undermines the backstory and context. Allow me to quickly explain. So basically in 1997, Six Flags Magic Mountain debuted pre-Sunday the Ride, aka Superman the Escape. This opens as the world's tallest and fastest roller coaster at 415 feet and 100 miles per hour. And yes, I'm just gonna ignore Tower of Terror's existence for now. Anyways, fast forward to the year 2000 where Cedar Point opens Millennium Force, which attempts to claim the record of world's tallest and fastest roller coaster, but then Six Flags is like, hey, whoa there buddy, we have the tallest and fastest coaster. And then Cedar Point is all like, lol, no you don't. That thing isn't a real roller coaster. And then Six Flags goes, uh-huh. And then Cedar Point goes, nuh-uh. And then they go back and forth until eventually the official People of Deciding Things organization comes in and says, yeah, Six Flags wins this one. Sorry, Cedar Point. So then Cedar Point gets all butthurt and then comes up with a solution involving just building a brand new roller coaster with the sole purpose of stealing the height and speed record, so they call Intamin back and they're all like, hey, make us a thing that goes really tall and really fast. And so Intamin is like, okay, we have an idea using hydraulic fluid and stuff, but we're not sure it'll work. And then Cedar Point is like, that's fine, we're rich. We'll just buy a prototype to test it out and throw it in one of our smaller parks to make sure it actually works. And so then Accelerator is born. Anyways, after they build the thing at knots, they're like, well, if we want it to be taller and faster than Super Meme, then we need it to go like 120 miles per hour. So you know what they do? That's right, they program the 205-foot prototype to launch at 118 miles per hour before it even opens to the public. Anyways, Intamin is like, okay, it works. So Cedar Point is like, great, now let's build this thing. And then Thrill Dragster is born. Meanwhile, this whole time Six Flags is just sitting back watching Cedar Fair bend over backwards to make this thing happen, so then when everything is all said and done, Six Flags does the big brain move and takes the record back by Control-C, Control-V-ing Dragster, slightly upscaling it, and boom, Six Flags wins. Cedar Point gives up, and so does basically every other amusement park on the planet. Well, I mean, there was Formula Rosa, but like, who cares? Anyways, now it's time to actually talk about the ride experiences of these two coasters and why I think Kingda Ka is better. So first off, let's talk about the pros and cons of each. I think the biggest pro of Dragster that comes to mind here is that Dragster has lap bars whereas Ka has shoulder restraints. And while yes, I easily prefer the restraints of Dragster, I don't find that the Ka restraints are limiting or uncomfortable at all. And they really don't take away from the ride experience. They make it just as easy for you to have your hands up and feel all that wind and speed on Ka as the lap bars do on Dragster. Another small advantage Dragster has over Ka is that Dragster has way better capacity since it runs like 5 trains and consistently dispatches utilizing all of its load and unload stations, whereas Kingda Ka just kind of abandons its theoretical insane capacity because of expenses and stuff, and only uses one of its 4 stations and usually only 2 trains. But I say that this is a small advantage that Dragster has simply because Dragster is a far more popular ride than Ka. It's at a much higher attended amusement park, it's basically in the center of the park, and it has way better marketing, whereas Ka is in the very far back corner in the park. It basically gets no recognition by the park other than a few signs and banners, and so Kingda Ka just usually gets way shorter lines than Dragster, even with Ka's insanely low capacity compared to Dragster. This means you're still gonna end up waiting longer for Dragster than Ka. Now that I've discussed the advantages Dragster has, let's talk about why I think Kingda Ka is superior to Thrill Dragster. First and foremost, the launch is simply stronger. The initial punchiness is about the same on the two, however, Ka's launch lasts a little longer and of course reaches a higher top speed, which ultimately makes it feel that much more intense. You get that crazy wind in your face feeling for a longer amount of time, and the extra rattle of Kingda Ka's launch just makes it feel way more out of control. Oh, and that reminds me, yes, Kingda Ka is slightly rougher, but Dragster is pretty rough too, so yeah, not much of a difference there. The top hat and spiral down are virtually the same on these two coasters, but next comes the biggest difference between the two, and this one additional element is honestly the hugest tiebreaker here. Dragster ends its ride with its drop leading straight into a brake run, and that's all you get. Kingda Ka takes a little more advantage of its 400+ foot drop and sends you into a ginormous airtime hill, and I don't care what you say, yes, it does give you floater. Not just any floater, extraordinarily sustained floater. Floater that lasts unnaturally long. You could completely lose contact with your seat for several consecutive seconds on this airtime hill because of how wide it is and how much speed you have going through it. This single airtime hill is ultimately enough to make me prefer Kingda Ka over Thrill Dragster, especially when paired with the added intensity of the launch. So anyways, thank you for watching this video. Even though I'm pretty much expecting 90% of you to disagree with me and say that Dragster is better, I'm still gonna go out and ask you to leave a comment saying which of these two intimate stratas you prefer if you've had the opportunity to experience both. But anyways, If you did end up enjoying the video, then please remember to leave a like and subscribe with notifications turned on so you'll be alerted whenever I upload a new video. But until then, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.